welcome back, everybody. Sarcasm Speaks, Jared and Bob here. And welcome to what we are going to call Rapid Fire Month. um, so
Yeah, pretty
basically,
much.
basically just to pull the curtain back for you all, for us, right? I think we're going to record probably 2 episodes every time we record until you leave for Italy, I would imagine, right?
I mean, I'm
When
leaving
do you
on a
guys leave?
Sunday.
So yeah, you leave on a
I
Sunday.
leave on a Sunday, which means that's a Sunday, a Tuesday, a Sunday, a Tuesday, and then there I think we fly back on a Friday, but truth be
Probably
told, we
not going
should
to want to
we should
record
probably
that
have one in
Sunday.
the fucking hopper
Yeah,
for that too.
yeah. And then next Sunday, I have a fucking fantasy football draft. Shout out to
Well,
Nick, by the way.
plus it's Labor Day, so it's like
Yeah, Labor Day weekend is tough. Like,
yeah, it kind of sucks because it's like you don't know what you're gonna get into.
right, right. So yeah, here we are, in game one of a million, or at least game one of two for us tonight. But I want to start keeping in mind of, like, obviously right now we're going to start to get a pretty significant backlog. I don't want to talk too much about, like, oh, this happened today and the episode comes out in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it doesn't
Um,
work.
but since this is the first episode of the rapid fire, we can get pretty chronologically involved here. So I want to start out by saying, which I'm sure that um, you can probably attest to this, seeing that Cunty Chris was just on vacation for a whole week. But fuck this last week. Fuck everything about this last week, because, like, work was absolutely ridiculous the last week. Like I said, I'm sure you're right in the same fucking boat as me. Um, and it's just absolutely absurd, the amount of shit that I had to deal with this week. Um, I have a relatively large pharmaceutical client that's moving from one part of Cambridge to another part of Cambridge in a week. Actually, the move starts the Tuesday after Labor Day. Um, so listen, the people on the project team are fine, like, as people, right? Like, I don't dislike them. Um, and it's tough because I'll have moments with them where they're like, "Oh yeah, cool, like, we laugh, joke, have fun, rah rah, whatever." And then there's times where I'm literally like, "I need you to shut the fuck up and just leave me alone and let me do my job." Um, because when some of them get their, like, anxiety OCD going, they're like next level micromanaging. Like, micromanaging doesn't even do it justice. Um, like, at one point, we have to hang certain, like, water purity platforms, whatever. It's a box, right? It's a box that hangs on a wall above a sink in a lab, and it cleans the water, right? Because, if you're going to do lab experiments, you need to have clean water. Someone asked me, how do we know if the wall has enough support behind it for this box that needs to go there? First, the question was, is the box going to fit? And I said, yes, because you already asked me 3 weeks ago to measure the spaces and see if the boxes would fit in the current space that we have available. And they're all different, right? So off the top of my head, there's four of them. So the system is called a millicu system. So there's four different millicu systems that we're moving. All four of them have four different dimensions. They're all different sizes, right? And the amount of space we have between, like, the sink and the wall in all four spots is different. However, all four of them fit. I measured the space. So then the question is, while we're doing a walkthrough in the new space, well, are the millicus going to fit? Yeah, they'll fit. How do you know? Well, I measured them 2 weeks ago when you initially asked me. Okay, well, which one goes here? I don't know. I don't have the list off the top of my head. Well, why don't you know which one goes here? Because I don't need to know, because we have it on the equipment list. that tells me where it's going to go. I don't know specifically the dimensions of this one. I'd have to go on the equipment list, find what it is, get the dimensions, and then I can tell you. Okay, well, that should probably be something you should know. Nope, that's not true. It's not something I need to know to that level of detail. What you need to know is I measured it 2 weeks ago and it fits. That's all you need to know. Okay, next question. How do we know there's enough support behind the wall to hold the millicube? Well, I would assume that the architect designed something in the wall to hold this system on the wall. Well, we shouldn't just assume that. How would you like me to check? Do you want me to cut a hole in the wall and look behind and be like, yep, okay, there's a brace right here, right where it's supposed to be. All right, cool. Someone, come patch this and repaint it when we're supposed to move in 2 weeks or a week and a half at this point? Absolutely not. How are we supposed to know if there's enough support? The answer is we don't. Unless you cut a hole in the wall, we don't. Well, that should have been something that we double checked. How in the fuck are we supposed to double check that? Again, short of cutting a hole in the wall. So
We could have cut the hole in the wall. Why didn't you think of that?
Yeah. Oh, you want to? Oh, sorry. I should have been here in April on the day before they put the drywall up, right? To just be like, oh, is there support behind these? Is there these metal studs here? Oh, we get some extra support.
So let's separate yourself away from the situation. Who would have been responsible for making sure? Is it the architect?
The architect, yeah. They designed the plans.
Okay. Which is hired by the company?
Correct. Maybe you should ask the architect.
Maybe you should ask the architect.
Yeah.
Kind of what I'm thinking. Like, hey, listen, I'm just an idiot. That's a question for the architect.
Yep. Yeah. So
because
just by
I'm told it's going here, so I measured it and made sure it fit. That's my job.
Yep.
Oh, and it will get here.
My job is to make sure it gets from point A to point B. And I guarantee you it will get from point A to point B. Right? Like, it's just what it is. So just the question, just by the nature of my job, the questions that get directed to me from this project make zero sense. So, you know what Metro racks are?
No,
We call them Metro racks. It's just it's a wire rack, right? It's a stainless steel rack. You know, like,
oh, I have those. I just call them racks.
Yeah, they're just racks.
Storage racks.
Yeah, storage racks. Yeah. In lab spaces, they call them Metro racks. Cool, whatever. So there's Metro racks all over the lab. In one spot in the lab, there's two like stainless steel flat racks, right? So they look different than all the other racks. Again, they're just like wire racks, right? They're just stainless steel. Like I have a plastic rack in my basement, right? You just pop it together. Why are those two flat bottom racks there? I don't know. I didn't order them. Well, we need to find out why those are there because those aren't standard and those shouldn't be there. They don't match the rest of the floor. Okay. Like, whatever, right? So, like, someone else who was on the walkthrough pulled up the information after this other person left and goes, oh, those are designated glassware racks, like to hold glassware. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense because you probably don't want to put glass on a wire rack, right? You probably want to put glass on a flat surface.
Why wouldn't you want it on the wire racks? It would make way more sense to put it on an unstable surface.
Yeah.
Especially glass.
Yeah.
Preferably filled with stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, chemicals too.
Yes, if you could put some chemicals in some glass beakers and put them on a wire rack, I think I'm no lab scientist, but I'm thinking that's what we should probably do.
Yeah. Yep. So that's been the genesis of my week, I guess. And it started out with they wanted the moving company to help them pack all their glassware because they have a lot of glassware, like a lot like beakers and graduated cylinders and all that shit. Who's Beaker's boss? And so we show up on Monday with the moving company. No one's ready. No one's ready to pack glassware. I looked back in the notes because we meet with these groups individually and we talk to them, and I keep notes after every meeting. And the reason why things are written in the notes is because we spoke about them in the meeting. So since July, since the beginning of July, we've been talking to the groups and getting them to accept the week of August 19th. The moving company will be here to pack up all your glassware. All right. Show up on Monday the 19th. All right. Hey, the moving company is here. Can you help us point out, some of the stuff they can pack? Nope. What do you mean, no? Well, it's not ready. Okay. Well, is anything ready? No, we don't have anything ready. Okay. So I guess I'll just send the movers home. So then I have
Decent
to,
day's work for them because they
yeah,
still get
yeah,
paid.
yeah. They're union too because it's Cambridge. So I send them home. I cancel Tuesday, right? Because I'm like, well, I mean, there's no sense in coming back tomorrow. There's not going to be much you can do in the next 24 hours. So word gets back to the project team, and then they come to me and they go, why didn't you make sure that the scientists were ready to go? I didn't think I had to. What do you mean you didn't think you had to? We've been talking to them about the week of August 19th since the beginning of July. I have it in all of the meeting notes that they agreed to the week of the 19th because it is kind of early, right? If they're not moving until September 3rd, right? That's a lot. It's kind of early. So we had to get them to accept to be like, listen, we understand you might still have stuff going on, but is the week of the 19th okay? Because there's other stuff that needs to happen next week. They're like, yeah, sure. Both groups that are moving, we're like, yeah, that works. Both groups. Oh no, we didn't have anything ready. So I get told by the project team, I need to handhold them and I need to make sure that adults do what they're supposed to do and do what they're told. Right. And that, you know, I should have been there talking to them every day last week to make sure that they were ready on Monday.
Why don't you just pack up the stuff in that case? Probably would have been done.
Seriously, I could have just packed it. Right. Like,
Imagine if you just went in Thursday, Friday, and just started packing shit and been like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, hey, this shit's got to go Monday. You haven't done anything.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
you
that was
can't
the
do
thing. We
that.
didn't need to move it. We didn't need to move anything yet. We just needed to pack it. We just need to pack it up because the scientists can't be bothered to wrap glass in paper and bubble wrap.
Well, yeah, they're out there
They're saving
curing
lives.
cancer or whatever.
Yeah. So that was that was last week. And yeah. So how was your week? There's more to it that I'm going to get to, but let's. I don't want to keep bitching about me. How was your insane week?
I mean, it was just long and stupid. It's kind of it. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and that's the thing. Nothing like really stupid popped up.
yeah. Just trying to man the ship solo. Well, I mean,
It's
you do
just
have some help, but
no, I got help, and we got some help that's helpful. I've got some help that's not a detriment, and I've got some help that's no longer there anymore. So I actually had to do a lot less this time.
well, that's helpful.
But I mean, it's like the same thing. Like I'm trying to get some programs going, and it's like you want to talk hand holding, like
Yeah.
we always joke at work. It's some people call it annoying, we call it relentless follow-up, which would be like a business some business guru is probably writing this down. There's gonna be a book about relentless follow-up.
Yeah. Oh, probably.
And it's just bothering people until you get what you want. Or they tell you to fuck off, like one or the other. Not
Right.
literally,
Right.
but so yeah, I mean I was doing some of that, but I don't know. I was more fucking annoyed that like we were supposed to punch the greens Monday, but then that got pushed to Tuesday, so I couldn't play golf Tuesday. And then Wednesday, I had to cover the morning. Then I had a lesson, so I couldn't play golf Wednesday. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, this sucks. I'm not fucking playing any golf.
Yeah, that does suck. So, so I guess to jump back in and continue the bitching. Um, so part of that is so on top of all of like the dumb shit for my current job, as I mentioned, I did get offered the new job, right? So I did give my notice. Um, I waited to sign the offer form this time. Which if you've been listening long enough, you get that. That's an OG reference.
Yeah, that goes back a while.
That's way back. Um, but
Was that pre-COVID?
that was pre-COVID.
Wow.
Yeah. That was right when I first met Amy. Because I thought I didn't have a job.
Oh, that's right.
And I was a fucking unemployed bum. Luckily I was able to
Yeah.
go back, but
Yeah, because we had to go find you at the fucking not
oh
China
yeah,
Plaza,
the
the
Mandarin.
Mandarin.
The Mandarin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
went
right.
rogue and just went to the Mandarin by yourself.
Yeah,
Like, fuck, we can't do that.
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And I think of Michaela will definitely remember. She's when she listens to this. If I remember correctly, you met us at the Pearl
Yes.
because Jamie was going somewhere.
He was
Was he just
going
going
to
to Utah?
Utah. He was going to
Okay.
Utah.
Oh, so it
Yeah.
was one of his like Utah departures.
Yeah.
So after the Pearl, we left. And I don't know if I called you or I texted you because you got away from us. And then you were just like, yeah, I'm just at the Mandarin. I'm like, nope. And I think Nikos was in the car with Michaela driving. And this
Oh
would have
yeah.
been
Wow.
only a couple months after we met,
Yeah. Yeah.
3, 4 months. So then she goes, nope, we're going to the Mandarin. He can't be there by himself. So then the three of us met you there. And I don't even know I don't know which night that was. It could have been the night that some dude randomly just went to turn to Nikos. He goes, yeah, I'm trying to
Oh
get some
yeah.
fentanyl tonight, you know?
Yeah.
He's like,
It could have been that night.
why the fuck do these people
Yeah.
always fucking find me?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that night though. It might not have been.
Yeah. It was definitely one of those nights. But so yeah, I waited, right? I waited till I got an offer sheet. I signed it. Then I gave my notice. Um and so then this week, right? I have to like do stuff for my new job while my current job is off the fucking chain, right? To put it one way. So every day this week I was in Cambridge, right? Except for one for my current job. So I think I accepted my offer on a Tuesday, right? So I gave a Monday and I gave my notice on Tuesday. Then there was like something else, whatever came in, and then I had to like sign the disclosure stuff and do like the contract, like the paperwork, right? Like the bullshit paperwork stuff to get started. So I did that Wednesday. So on Wednesday morning, I'm trying to like fill through this like paperwork and it goes, all right, so now you have to sign up for fingerprints and a drug test, which no big deal, right? Should be stupid fucking easy. Except fuck all of these places because none of them take into consideration people that work full-time jobs, right? And I know like it's different now in 2024 because people work hybrid, whatever. A lot of people don't work hybrid. And a lot of people that do work hybrid, myself included, sometimes we get really busy and we have to be out every single fucking day of the week. That's what hybrid means. Like you're in some days, you're out some days, right? Right now, I'm in all the time. A couple months ago, I was out all the time, like home all the time, right? Like, so it is what it is. It's ebbs and flows, right? So I go to book my fingerprint test and I'm looking because it automatically populates like a bunch of places near you, um, by your location. So I put that in. There's one in Providence, like on the Providence Pawtucket line. I'm like, oh, great. So I click on that one. That's the closest one to my house, too. So I click on it and it goes, oh, our hours are like 9 to 3, Monday through Thursday. And I was like, well, that's not going to work. So I click on the next one that's in like Smithfield, Rhode Island or whatever. And it's like, oh, our hours are, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Well, that's not going to work. If I got to be in Cambridge every day, I'm not going to be able to be there at 8 and then get to Cambridge on time. And I'm also not going to be able to get home from Cambridge before 5 o'clock. So that's not going to work. So I'm scrolling through all these places and I go, all right, I just need to find a place that's open on a Saturday. All the way down the bottom of the list, there are 2 places that are open on Saturday to get fingerprints. One of them is in, I think it was Warwick, Rhode Island. Yeah, it's down by the airport, right? It's down by TF Green. It was like a couple miles beyond TF Green. And I go, all right, well, that kind of fucking sucks. That's not ideal. What's the next one? Bridgewater, Massachusetts. So if you're wondering why you were getting Snapchats of random places in
I
Bridgewater
was wondering that.
on Saturday, it's because I had to go get fingerprints. So I'm like, they were like equidistant. Like one of them was like 29.7 miles away, and the other one was like 28.2 or whatever. Like whatever
I found anything in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. If there's an appointment, generally you kind of get in and out. Like I went to when I had poison ivy and I needed fucking
Right.
medication. It was like Easton's like, well, we got like a 2 hour wait, whatever.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
called Bridgewater. They're like, when can you get here? I was like 20 minutes. They're like, yeah, I mean, unless a lot of people show up here in 20 minutes, we can get you in right away. They go, we can't tell you what'll happen in those 20 minutes. I'm like, see you in 20.
yeah, yeah. So again, I'm sitting there, right? So the earliest both of them have is 9:30 on Saturday morning. So I'm like, whatever, right? So I go, do I want to go to next to TF Green and like, deal with whatever airport traffic might be around? No, not on a Saturday morning. I'm not doing it. And I go, plus, I know Bridgewater. I can close my eyes and navigate through Bridgewater if I had to. So I'll just go there. So I made an appointment for 9:30 at Bridgewater on Saturday. It was at a fucking FedEx Kinko's, literally right next to Roche Brothers, like in the plaza, the next door over. There was an urgent care right there too. It went like Roche.
I went to.
Yeah, Roche Brothers, urgent care, and then FedEx.
Oh, I didn't realize that FedEx was there. Yeah.
So it took me about 28 minutes to get there. I was in FedEx for all of about 4.5 minutes, and then it took me about 28 minutes to get home. But I did do a little tour around Bridgewater just to kind of like see what was up, which I'll get to. That's going to be my final thought. So no problem, right? Fingerprints, kind of annoying. It's a Saturday morning, but no big deal. I'm up early, right? It's fine. I still went to Market Basket at 7 a.m. and was home in time to get to Bridgewater to get the fingerprints. Cool, whatever. Quest Diagnostics for a drug test. They can fuck right off because they do not offer any drug tests on weekends. Seems like a bit of an oversight, right? Like so the drug tests I found out are only offered between 8:30 and 4:30 every day, right? Monday through Friday. Sorry, not every day. Let's be clear, not weekends. And actually, I think it's 8:30 to 12 and then 1 to 4, right? They break for an hour for lunch. So you can't schedule a drug test. So
like the post office in Easton.
Yeah.
You can't go in from 12:30 to 1:30.
Yeah. They lock the doors.
They do.
So there's a Quest literally 6 minutes from my house in Cumberland, Rhode Island. Like I could throw a rock and hit it. It's super close. It's the one I've gone to every time for work when I need to get a drug test. Like, because some of our clients, like whatever they are, like they just require a drug test just to make sure you can get a badge and be on campus or whatever. So it's like, yeah, sure, no problem. I go here all the time, whatever, no big deal. So this one was weird because I booked it through my new employer, and it just said like pick a spot, right? So I'm like, oh, I'll just pick this one because it's the closest one to my house. It did not let me pick a time. I just clicked the location and hit the next button, and then it was like, thank you. You are now registered at the Cumberland Quest Diagnostics, and you have until Friday at 11:59 p.m. before this registration expires. And I was like, okay, maybe I don't need an appointment. Like maybe I can just show up. So I'm looking. Friday was the one day where I didn't need to be in Cambridge at 8 o'clock. So I was like, I'll go in late, right? I'll text the guy that I'm working with. I'll text my boss and be like, hey, listen, like I got to go get a drug test. Like I'm going to be late getting in on Friday. No big deal, right? So I look up what time does Quest Diagnostics open? They open at 7:30. I go, okay, perfect. I left my house probably at like 7:40. I got there right around 7:45. And I walk up and I have to like sign in and tap the thing and go, it goes, do you have an appointment? And I said, no, I don't. So, okay, it adds me to the list, right? You got to scan your license, whatever. And I sit down. Uh, One of the nurses comes out, calls some guy. She goes, oh, you here for blood work? And he goes, yeah. She goes, okay, come with me. She turns and she goes, are you Jared? And I was like, yes, I am. She goes, are you here for blood work or for a drug test? And I was like, oh, I have drug test. And she goes, we don't start those until 8:30 and you don't have an appointment. So I can't tell you when we're going to be able to take you. And I was like, okay, um, I guess I'll just go back out to my truck and get my stuff and just start working from the Quest lobby, right? Like, whatever. She was like, okay. She was like, whatever. So she goes, if you call your employer, they can change your expiration to extend it, and you can just come back on Monday and make an appointment on Monday. And I go, no, I can't. Um, I have to be in Cambridge on Monday at 8 a.m. So I can't do it. Like this is for a new job, but I do still have a current job. So, and that job is very busy. And she was like, okay, all right, well, I don't know what to tell you, but like, I can't guarantee we're going to be able to take you. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go out to my truck, I grab my stuff. I'm sitting in the Quest fucking lobby with my laptop and my phone. There was a call that was going to start. I think it started the company I work for. They start their calls in the 5 minutes after. So like, and a meeting doesn't start at 8:30. It starts at 8:35, right? So I'm like, whatever. So I had a call at 8:35 that I needed to be on. So I text my boss and I tell him like, I'm getting porked by Quest right now. This is at 7:45. And I'm like, I'm sitting in the lobby, I'm working, but I don't have an appointment and they don't know when they're going to be able to take me. So I was like, I'll be on this call at 8:35, but like I'm probably going to be on my phone. So the woman comes out, we chat a little bit more, whatever. So like she sees I'm working, right? And she was like, are you sure? Like you want to wait? And I was like, I don't have a choice, right? Like I understand what you're telling me, but like if I don't get this drug test now, I can't get it next week. Like I don't have a day next week that I know that I can come in. And like my job needs it now, right? Like, are they going to extend this drug test for like 3 weeks? Probably not, right? So like I just have to deal with it, right? She was like, okay, cool, whatever. So I'm sitting there. That was probably around like 8 o'clock, 8:15. Like all these other people are coming in for blood work. They're coming in, they're coming out. I'm still sitting there. At like 8:32, she opens the door. She goes, come on, let's go. I'll take you right now. And I was like, fantastic. I look at her and I'm like fumbling to like close my laptop and get everything. And I look at my stuff, like my backpack and everything. And I go, is it okay if I leave this here? She goes, not if you want it to get legs and disappear. And I go, fair point. It's coming with me. So I stuff everything in my backpack and I go into like the little room or whatever. And I'm like furiously like texting my boss, being like, they just took me. I'm going to be late to this call. So he's like, all right, cool. He goes, I can jump on, but I have a hard stop at 9 a.m. And I go, it shouldn't take me that long. So we're going, I'm shooting the shit. So as much as I shit talk Quest, right? And I'm going to continue to shit talk them, this woman in particular, this nurse, fantastic. She was amazing, right? Like that's the thing, right? The corporations suck, but the
That's
people that
usually
work for
how it
them
goes.
usually are pretty good. All I had to do was again just explain the situation to her, and she was like, "I'll do whatever I can to
Well,
get you."
it's
So
like one of those things. Like it's like a built-in filter. It's like, oh, man, you're already like an hour early, and like I don't know if we'll be able to take you.
yeah,
And it's like, okay, I guess I'll just leave. And it's like, all right, good, get away from
yeah,
me. But it's like, all right, I'll grab my shit. I'm moving in. And
yeah,
it's
yeah. I'm
like,
here.
are you sure? Because I don't know if we can take you. It might be a while. You got no other option, so I'm moving in.
Yeah, I
Like,
literally don't have another
yeah,
option.
I'm living
If you
here until
don't
you
take
drug
me
test.
until 11 o'clock, like I guess I'll have to take the day off, like retroactively, right? Like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so yeah, she was
It's
great.
a man with no options here.
Yeah. So I'm shooting the shit with her. We're joking. I'm being like, yeah, I'm late for a meeting right now, right? Like this is life. And I go, it's tough because like this is for a new job, but I do still have a current job that like I am responsible for a lot of things. She was like, yeah, I get it. She goes, oh, it's a good place to be in, right? And I was like, yeah, I mean, in the big picture, yeah, but like right now it's pretty stressful. And so we
Right. It's
go,
better than having no job and getting court ordered
yeah,
drug tested.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, 100%. So we go into this other room. She's like, all right, pick out a sample bag. I'm like, all right, whatever. I take this one. She goes, is it fine? Is the seal broken? I go, no, it looks good. She goes, okay, you can open it up. Okay. So I'm like, open it up. We go through like all of these like random steps, right? Like make sure this matches. Does this match this? And that looks like that. Okay. Wash your hands. All right. Turn the page, wash your hands. Cool. We go in the
Okay.
bathroom and she's like, see that locker? Stuff everything in there. Completely empty your pockets, everything out, turn your pockets out. All right, cool. Pockets are empty. She goes, all right, can you push it? She goes, can you push your bag in anymore? It was a very small locker. She's like, I need to be able to shut this and lock it. So I literally, it was like on the ground. I literally just fucking kicked it. I booted it into the locker and like slammed the door shut. And she goes, all right, turn around, please. And she like locked it with whatever. It's like a spin lock, right? So she locks it. She goes, okay, so the water is off, so you can't flush. She goes, I need you to fill at least to this line. You don't need to fill the whole thing, but like I need something, right? And she goes, when you're done, put it on this locker on the top of the locker and open the door. Dude, again, I left my house like almost an hour before this. I'm drinking water. I had coffee in the morning. I had to fucking piss. The whole piss took about 45 seconds, right? From the time she shut the door, it was all right. I'm pissing, right? I'm ready to go. I fill up, I pass the line and I go, yeah, all right, cool. Finish the rest in the actual toilet, put the thing on, open the door. She goes, oh my God, that was quick. And I was like, yeah, I'm efficient. She goes, okay. So she gets,
And
she goes,
gonna be smarter.
you need to watch this part and verify that I'm not fucking with your sample. I was like, okay. So she has to like take the cup and pour it into like this vial or whatever. She closes it, has to put tape on the top. She goes, you verify that I did not mess with your sample. And I go, yes, you're good. She goes, all right, cool. She like puts it in the bag, seals it, make sure everything matches again. She goes, all right, now we can go back over here and you can sign this thing. So I like sign another thing and she goes, all right, you're all set. And like in the meantime, we were just talking and she was like, yeah, she goes, it's really tough because like sometimes you get these people that come in and like for whatever reason they can't pee or like they knew they had to take a drug test and they didn't drink enough water beforehand or like for whatever reason like they have issues. So she was like, I like to tell people I can squeeze them in, but we have appointments every 25 minutes and sometimes it takes people longer than 25 minutes to finish this test. And I go, that's absurd to me that you have you have to have a drug test or you have to pee in a cup and it takes longer than 25 minutes. Like the whole pee process, including her like pouring it into the vial and sealing the bag and doing all that shit, took about 2 minutes. I go, that's wild. And she was like, yeah, you'd be surprised some of the people that I run into here. And I go, you know what? I believe that. And she was like, all right, have a good day, whatever. So I'm like, on my way, whatever. I'm going into Cambridge. So again, the woman, the nurse who works at the Cumberland Quest, shout out to you. You're fantastic. Quest Diagnostics as a company, you can fuck right off. You're only out. And so that was one of the things she said to me. She goes, yeah, we're the only site in Rhode Island that does, now again, Rhode Island, small state, right? But she goes, we're the only site in Rhode Island that does pre-work drug screens. Every other place that does a drug test is court ordered. And I was like, huh, okay, well, that's good to know. But then on my way out, she like, I don't know, she was like, hey, if you're ever in a pinch, you can call the urgent care in Johnston. And if you tell them you have to get a drug test for work, they'll be able to squeeze you in. And I was like, thanks, lady. Like, I didn't really need that information, but like, apparently now we're friends.
Yeah.
Because like 20 minutes ago, you told me that this was the only location in the entire state that would do pre-work drug screens. So apparently, like, there's someone at the urgent care in Johnston that just like doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, it's morally flexible.
Yeah, it's morally flexible. It's like, oh, you get a pre-work drug screen? Yeah, we'll take you. I'd rather deal with you than someone who's got a court order drug test.
Cash or Venmo.
Yeah, yeah. So again, Quest, like from 8:30 to 12 and then 1 to 4. Those are the only times you can get a drug test Monday through
But
Friday.
there's only one person working. It's that one lady.
Like, how does that make any sense though? Like, how do you not have anything available on a Saturday? At least, like, yes, I would have had to go out of my way, or I did, right? To go out of my way to go to Bridgewater or to Warwick. But at least there were some options to do the fingerprinting on a weekend. There was zero opportunity to get a drug test on the weekend.
Easy. They don't want to pay someone to do it.
Yeah. And then having only 48 hours to get it done, right? Like whatever I did it Wednesday and it expired like Friday at midnight. So it's like, all right, I got to get this done. So, but I got it done. So hopefully I passed the background check and the drug test. I would be very surprised. So Amy said to me, like, as I was leaving, she was like, well, good luck. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I would be very surprised if I failed this drug test because I haven't done any drugs in a very long time.
You see muffins?
Yeah, no poppy seed bagels, no poppy seed muffins, nothing, not even, yeah, not within 2 weeks, I would say, at least. So I do love a good lemon poppy seed muffin. Those fucking smack.
I don't know if I ever had one.
They're really
if
good.
someone was gonna have one, it can't be like fucking Stop and Shop. It's got to be good.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Stop and Shop, you get the pistachio muffin that's green for no reason.
Yeah, they just add food coloring.
Yeah,
because everyone knows pistachios are green.
Yeah,
everything pistachio is green. Pistachio ice cream, green. Pistachio muffins, green. The nuts themselves,
pistachio ice cream. I like pistachio ice cream. And I don't even think it's pistachio. I think it's the fucking vanilla or the almond or whatever, like the marzipan that they put in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Is really good. Pistachio ice cream is pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the week. A little bit stressful of a week. It was one of those like I like just talking to people, right, about like getting the new job and leaving this job. And it's, I talked to the managing director after I gave my notice, who the woman that runs all of North America, so the US and Canada. And I was like, listen, like this isn't like I didn't want to leave here, right? Like I don't hate my job. It was just an opportunity presented itself, and it's a potential, higher potential for career growth and things like that, working for like a major financial institution. Like the amount of opportunity that I would be able to have to move in and around the company, especially with it only being 20 minutes from my house versus at the small company that I'm at now. Like my boss has been there for 10 years. My boss's boss has been there for 15 years. The woman who runs North America that I was talking to started my company in the US because it originally came from the UK. So she's been there for 35 years, right? So it's like
So basically,
unless
you have a
these
strength and
people
conditioning job where you're waiting for someone to die.
exactly. I was gonna say unless these people die and they're not close to retirement, right? Like I'm not gonna. There's no more upward mobility, right? So
Ooh,
there's a lot of
corporate speak. I like that. Upward
upward
mobility.
mobility.
Wow.
Yeah,
Look
guy
at you.
spends 3 years in a corporate
They
job.
didn't teach you that in fucking exercise
They did
science.
not teach me that at Bridgewater. No, they taught me the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Oh, we learned that in high
Um,
school.
yeah. um, so yeah, I mean, I was like, listen, like this is fine, right? So again, like it's not that I
You know, you
hate
could have
my
just
job.
said it's not you, it's
It's
me.
not you, it's me. Yeah, that's basically what I was saying. But a week like last week, I fucking hate the job. Right? It's a week like last week where I'm like, I cannot wait to not be crazy hectic like this, right? And it will be busy and it
Yeah, I
will
was saying,
be
but
in other
dude, that's the
ways,
thing though. It always
but like
fucking
the fact of having to schedule outside appointments around needing to have a 2 hour commute into Cambridge, like that's absurd, right? And then a 2 hour commute home from Cambridge, like at
let's say
least
that
if I'm
that part I'll
working,
give you, but
at least if I'm working in Rhode Island 20 minutes away, like guess what? I leave my house at 7:30. I'm in the office before 8 a.m. Right?
yeah, I was
Maybe
gonna
if there's a
say
little bit of traffic, it takes me a half hour to get to work, right? Like
what I'm looking at.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've never had a short commute to work since probably high school.
Had multiple.
Yeah, I know. I know. That when we were in Mansfield, that was probably about as short as it could get.
That
Oh
was
no,
longer than one of
actually
my other
in
commutes.
Easton, yeah, you lived right
I
next. Yeah,
lived
you could
next
walk.
door to work.
Yeah. Did
I
you just
walked.
walk it? Yeah, you walked
I
every day.
walked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Um, but yeah, like working at Compass, I worked out of all three offices, right? So I was living when I we were between living in Bridgewater and Mansfield. When I was working there, I was based out of Worcester, Lawrence, and Dorchester, right? Between Bridgewater and Mansfield. Before that, when I was working at the liquor store was in Woburn, right? So even when I was in Medford to Woburn, it's like 20, maybe 30 minutes if there's traffic. So that one's not bad.
In the wrong part of
Um,
Medford.
but I still worked at the liquor store in Woburn when I lived in Bridgewater. So I would commute from Bridgewater to
Oh,
Woburn to
fuck.
work because I had to work once a month to stay on the payroll.
Yeah, I had to do that at Stop and Shop every 3 weeks.
Yeah. So then when I was working at Athletic Republic in Norwood, right, I was living in Bridgewater, right? So that 5 a.m. class that I would need to run in Norwood, I needed to leave Bridgewater by like 4 a.m., 4:15 at the latest, right? To make sure I could get there and open the door and make sure the clients didn't see me like dragging my half asleep ass in. Um, trying to think of all the other places that I've worked, right? Like I've always had a commute, right? Now, right? Like the job I have now, we're hybrid and we have clients that change, but like I've never worked closely. I've been between Framingham and Cambridge and Waltham and you know all these other places living in North Attleboro, right? So now I'm finally going to have a 15 to 20 minute commute for like the first time ever. So it's kind of nice. But with that said, you want to wrap this up?
We can wrap this up.
All
So
right.
it wasn't last week, but it was probably sometime in July. Yeah. And I was at work. So somehow this segues in. I don't know how the fuck this worked out. And we just use like a Amazon Fire tablet at
Mm-hmm.
work for music. That's it. It has one job. It's only to play music. It is a music player. That's all it is. It's nothing more, nothing less. So, for whatever reason, the Spotify app loves to freeze. So it's like ad plays, ad freezes, got to go over and like fucking start it back up. Uninstall the app, reinstall the app, do it all, restart the thing. None of it works. It just freezes during ads. So I know what some people are saying. Ah, don't be a cheap fuck and pay for ads or pay for no ads. I'm like, why would I pay for a subscription to a company that can't fucking play music? Like their job is to play music. They
Yeah.
can't play music. So no, I'm
Right.
not getting a premium subscription from that company.
Right.
So I asked the kids, I go, well, what app do we like here? And they're like, I don't even know what the fuck they said. Like, nope, can't get it on this. I tried,
LimeWire.
yeah. So I tried downloading that, couldn't do it, couldn't find it. I tried using the Sonos app because that's what our speaker is, or whatever. I don't know how the fuck that shit works, but Sonos is the music player via speakers. Uh, and that won't update. So I go, Sonos won't update. Spotify's freezing. I try Amazon Music. I can't get Amazon Music to play via Bluetooth. So I'm out on 4 apps already. I go, I guess I'm back to freezing Spotify. So then I move into whatever I'm doing. We have like the timing gates that
Hmm.
are via Bluetooth. Well, those aren't working for me either.
Fantastic.
One of them keeps tripping, the other one won't connect. It's like, I just want to fucking time some tens. That's all I want to do. Nope, gates don't work. So move on. We move over to our jump mat. Because we test verticals. So we don't always test sprints, but we test either verticals or depth of vert or something. We test some type of jump every day now.
Yeah.
And the jump mat's not working. It's like, fuck me, dude. So I'm like sitting there and I'm like grabbing the wire, pushing into the controller as hard as I can. It's like, okay, jump. It's like, okay, good, I got that one. Nope, didn't get that one. Nope, didn't get that one. Okay, I got that one. I'm like, fuck, A. And
Yeah.
that's all in one day. And I can't get any of this shit to work, resulting in me having to buy a new jump mat because the electronics. I mean, that was a good jump mat for a long time. It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
like you've been a good dog yeller. It's just
It's time.
it's time. So it's like I got a new jump mat, so we're good on that front. I somehow got the Sonos app to download. Uh the gates, I still don't know. I mean, dude, they're like finicky. It's just like anything Bluetooth just is finicky. But then when we were at Dana Barros doing a clinic, they actually fucking tripped because the battery died on one of
Oh,
them. So it's like as Chris is trying to test out tens, I'm running over, spin it out. And it's because that motherfucker said something about he said something like he goes, "Do we have batteries for these things?" I go, "Why are they dying?" He goes, "No, I was just asking." And then the fucking batteries died on one of them. I was like, "Well, you son of a bitch." Um, so yeah, we're Sonos people now. I don't quite know how Sonos is gonna work, but
Okay. All right.
I mean, I still use Spotify on my phone. It's fine on my phone, but yeah, okay. In like, so obviously all the brainiacs at the gym. Oh, just, that's what happens when you try to play music off a Kindle. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty funny. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, why don't you just get an iPad? I go, so you want me to buy an iPad for
Yeah.
one purpose to play music? And like, yeah. I go, I am not. I don't. I go, how much does an iPad even cost? I don't know. It depends on where you get it. I'm like, I hate that fucking answer. I fucking hate that answer. I
Yeah.
know it fucking depends on where you get it. Just say a fucking number to me. I hate that fucking answer when they say that shit. I go, well, whatever it is, because you can't give me a number. I go, I'm not spending that number on just something to play music. Like,
Yeah.
if Spotify's available on if a Fire tablet, it should fucking work. That's it. Then someone goes, oh, just use an old iPad. I go, who has an old iPad?
Yeah.
Do you have
Who?
one? If you have one, I'll take it. I go, mine don't work. That shit's from fucking 2012. And like someone was saying that and they're like, yeah, if you have like an old iPad, just use that. They go, as I'm saying that, I don't know where you're gonna get an old iPad from. I go, yes, that's the fucking problem.
Right. Right.
I specifically went to Target and bought this stupid thing for 60 fucking bucks. It was the cheapest one they had. So yeah, we're on the Sonos app. But I mean, free Spotify still works on my phone, so
Yeah, these are fucking expensive.
it doesn't
Even
matter, dude. I'm not like it could be
yeah,
150 bucks and I'm not buying it.
but like an iPad Mini, a fourth generation one that came out in 2015. So a 2015 iPad Mini, which oddly enough is the same year as my computer that I'm on right now, and it's refurbed, 180 bucks.
So you want me to spend 180
A 10
bucks
a 10-year-old piece of technology that's been refurbished. You
on
want
a
me to spend
tablet
180 bucks?
that if I tried to download Spotify on, it would be like, oh, sorry, not supported.
Yeah.
It's not the right iOS. That's
Yeah, I
it.
mean,
And 100% that's what would happen.
I can tell you as someone that has an Apple product that I'm looking at right now with this iMac from 2015, um, it's old and it's slow. It's very slow now.
Because that was the issue with like my old iPad. Like now that one's like, I don't know what generation, but it's from like 2012, 2013, something like that. And it stopped supporting Spotify in like 2019, like 2020.
Yeah, yeah,
So I can't buy an older one because it won't support the app.
yeah.
Oh, just get a premium subscription. No, I'm not paying a fucking company that can't figure their shit out. Fuck them. And I go, I would rather pay for a different service than this one because they can't figure their shit out.
Right.
Oh, and then I tried downloading YouTube Music. YouTube Music didn't work either. Or it's not on the Fire thing. So I was 0 for 5.
Yeah, yeah.
See, yeah, we're Sonos
You
people.
should get a Samsung tablet. Those are probably cheaper. I can tell you they're definitely cheaper than an iPad.
Oh, they're cheaper than an iPad, but they're more expensive than what I have now. Because what I have
Yeah,
now has already been paid for. That's a sunk cost.
that's true. That's true.
So that's effectively $0.
Yeah,
And the Samsung tablets are more than $0.
this is true.
Also, those Samsung tablets, I have one and I don't use it very frequently. I only use it for I mean, I was using it for Zoom calls, but I don't anymore because we have this computer. And I use it as a Kindle reader. That's all I use it for. And then like I'll pull it upstairs and watch YouTube TV, sure, but
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's not like that thing's any treat.
yeah.
Plus, Sonos plays music too.
That's true. That works.
That's all I need.
Sonos works. All right. So, um, as I had previously mentioned, my final thought is, I had a big nostalgia weekend. So I already talked about being in Bridgewater, right, for my fingerprints yesterday morning. Um, it was funny driving around because like while I was there, I was like, I literally drove a half hour here, and that process took 4 minutes from beginning to end. So I was like, I might as well just kind of drive around town, like see what's the same, what's different, what's changed, whatever. Drive by some of my old houses. And so I go to drive down Burrell, right, which is like the main street to get onto campus, on East Campus at least. And I take the turn, right, and it's still the same. Like the brown house is right on the corner. Then it's the greenhouse that I lived in for a year that was an absolute fucking debauchery of a year. And then the giant parking lot that was right next to my house, gone. It is a massive hotel. It's called,
Hotel?
all right, it's like hotel or condos or something,
It's probably
but it's called like Dwell 85. So I'm assuming it's 85 Burl because I think, well, that doesn't make sense because I lived in 9. My address was 9 Burl Ave. Um, but yeah, it's like Dwell 85 in Bridgewater.
Student apartments.
Studio. Oh,
I
okay.
don't know who owns it, but
Yeah. So they are apartments then. But like, I know I sent you the picture as I was driving down the road. Like, it is massive. It's a huge building. And I was like, what the fuck is this thing? So I just keep driving down. I didn't go into campus. Like I got to Moakley and then I just hung a left and then went back. I was like, I don't need to go like deep into campus here. Um, but then I was just driving around and on my way back, I came up through the center. Um, and I saw that Chessman's is gone. So for anyone that doesn't know, right, if you didn't go to Bridgewater State or you didn't ever live in Bridgewater, you have no idea what any of these things mean, but I don't care. It's my final thought. So Chessman's was the like esto facto college pizza spot. They were open until 3 or 4 a.m., 3 a.m. I don't remember, but I think they were open until 3 a.m. And they would deliver. So like the classic move was, and this was like the running joke at Bridgewater State University, you would be absolutely shit faced. You would get back to either your apartment or your dorm at like 1 a.m. You would order Chessman's. It would show up at like 2:30 because it would take them so long to get to deliver to you because they were so busy. They were the only place that was open
Yeah,
until
only
3
place.
a.m. And
Dude, they're the only place open past like 9:30.
yeah, yeah. So you would eat the chessmans, right? And then the next morning you would wake up and you would look at the box at the leftovers and be like, "Oh my God, that is absolutely fucking disgusting." But the night before, or that morning, technically, it was the most delicious thing ever. So like the running joke in Bridgewater was Chessman's, if you're shit-faced, is the best pizza you've ever had in your entire life. But when you're sober, it's fucking disgusting. It's the worst pizza you've ever had. It is simultaneously the best and the worst pizza you've ever had in your entire life. So it's just one of those like it's just one of those spots, right? And it's gone. It's a
Can't
fiesta now.
like, did you used to get the
The
chicken Caesar
breadsticks,
pizza? No, the
yeah,
chicken Caesar
yeah, the chicken
pizza.
Caesar pizza, yeah, that was a big hit.
Oof.
We would do that all the time.
Ugh.
Yeah, yeah,
Ate it once. I'm like, no, thank you.
yeah. The field hockey girls loved it. The chicken Caesar pizza. We would get like the chicken bacon ranch. That was a big one.
I don't like ranch anyway, but
Yeah, yeah, I mean, pepperoni was always a go-to, right? Like it was just again, shit-faced, most delicious thing you've ever had. If you weren't
yeah. So
shit-faced,
it's funny because I think like because obviously my go-to move when I drink like that is I just fall asleep. So that's the thing is like I was never ordering that shit. Like I knew it was it was the only place,
right?
but usually I'm like I was asleep. Oh, and there would be times like fuck, I'm kind of hungry, but I'm like I go, but I'm not gonna be awake.
Yeah,
Then I fall
the
asleep.
amount of times that Chessman's would call people. It never happened to me, but I knew a lot of people where it did happen to. You would call, you would order Chessman's again at like 1 a.m. when you got back from the bar, and you would fall asleep at your house or dorm or whatever. They would call you at like 2:15, 2:17, 2:20, no answer, and then they would just fucking leave. Like the amount of times that Chessman's like got the drivers probably got to take home pizzas was absurd because you would still
Yeah,
get charged because you had to prepay and you had to give them the card over the phone because
of that
so
exact
many
reason.
so many drunk college kids would just fall asleep
Yep.
at 2 a.m. So yeah, yeah. So that's gone. Like I said, it's a fiesta, which is odd that it's a Mexican restaurant and not another pizza place. Because I don't know if you remember the inside. It was very, very small.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they pulled that one off. But then the other thing that like that was kind of like, oh man, that kind of sucks. The one that like blew me away was Bogarts. Dude, Bogarts is gone. Well, the building is still there, but it's been completely renovated. And now it's called Casa Agave. And it's like, dare I say, it looks beautiful on the outside. So again, to give context to this, right? Like, I think I saw a meme once where it was like every college town has this shitty college bar that sells like $1 Miller Lights drafts, or and there's something sticky on the floor, right? Your floor is always sticky, but you just don't care because it's cheap and whatever. Like that was Bogarts for us. Like it was a like dive bar does not describe it appropriately. It literally was, the floor was always sticky, and I didn't run into, well, I guess if you had black sneakers, right? But the girls would run into this all the time with their boots. We would go to Bogarts, and then the next morning you would look at your shoes, and there'd be like gray dried liquid, right, on all over your shoes. It would happen so frequently that it was called bogey juice or Bogues juice, right? It's like, oh man, I got Bogues juice all over my shoes last night because the floor was always wet. It was always sticky. There was gross shit on it. It would get all over your sneakers and dry. And then the next morning, your sneakers would have stains on them. And it was absurd, right? It was crazy. That was this place. And now it is like a classy Mexican restaurant called Casa Agave.
Yeah, I'm like I looked it up. I'm like fascinated to like understand like what it actually looks like.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm also sitting here and it it doesn't make any sense. Why the
It,
fuck would you have two Mexican places across the street from each other?
yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, what people do say is Ron Emma, like, because he's on the zoning board in Bridgewater, he just fucks
Yeah.
everything up. So I'm not
Yeah.
surprised that there is no other pizza place.
Yeah,
Especially
that's a good point. If they
with
were gonna
downtown being
like
open again.
remove Chessman's, they're not gonna replace it with another pizza place to compete with Emma's.
Yeah, with that guy being on the
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, to have two Mexican places across the street from each other, like near a
Yeah.
college camp, like what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you can. No, for the bar, it makes a lot more sense because you can just make your margaritas in the fucking barrel and say, "Hey,
Right.
drink this." It's like
Right.
they're $3. Is that barrel clean? Doesn't matter. It's $3. Like,
Yeah. It's just kind of crazy to see like Bridgewater like classed up a little bit, right?
have you seen the rest of Bridgewater?
Oh no, the rest of Bridgewater is still a shithole. But
Because
like,
because those two places have been
yeah,
rehabbed,
yeah.
while the rest of it has gone to shit.
And like the new student apartment building on Burl Ave. Um,
Yeah, everything around campus. So like even the Welcome Center, like that, like I've seen that a bunch of times, but like that wasn't there when I was there.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they were building that when I was leaving grad school.
yeah, so I mean
Um,
the few times I've driven through there, I've seen it, but uh yeah, I mean like that stuff I'm not surprised is nicer, but like dude, the rest of the town is just like
yeah,
it's
Brianna's is gone. The breakfast spot.
yep, that's
That's it's a
gone.
it's a barber shop now.
It's just like nothing can
Bridgewater
last in that
Bagel
place.
is still there though. So yeah, I
Doesn't
forget where I was driving around. Like I said, Brianna's is gone. It's a barber shop. Um, I forget what else. I think the Taco Bell is still, Crispy's is still there. That like random Italian
yeah.
spot right on the train tracks. Burger King is obviously still there.
Yeah, McDonald's, but like
Yeah.
uh
Meat King still there.
yeah.
That place was great. But yeah. So then the other part was today. Um I went to Wilmington to see my uncle so he could, see the baby and, do all that shit. So we're there, we drive up, so we could take a nap in the car on the way up. We hang out for a couple hours. Then we go to leave and it's like right around lunchtime, but like it's not really time for him to take another nap yet for the ride home. So we were both kind of hungry and Amy's like, "Oh, do you know anywhere around here we can just get food?" And I was like, "I don't know Wilmington." I was like, "I know Woburn and I know Medford." right? And I was like, I kind of don't really want to drive into Woburn. I was like, let's just go to Medford, right? Like it's 20 minutes from Wilmington. So I hop back on the highway, start heading down, and I go, all right, what are you in the mood for? Like, you just want like a sub or a sandwich or something? She was like, yeah. And I go, all right, so look up Alfredo's and Ronnie's place. Cause I was just gonna go over to Payne Square, right? Because it's right off the highway, it's easy. I go, look at those menus, whatever. We're sitting there and I'm like thinking, and I go, ooh, actually, wait a second. Let me look up Bob's. So I look up Bob's and they're open until 2:45 on Sundays. So we had time, right? So I think we ended up getting there right around 2 o'clock. Um, so I was like, all right, fuck that. We're going to Bob's, right? Like this is like a real like Italian food store. We're going in, we're getting whatever. So we go in, I get a veal parm sub. Amy gets an Italian. Unbelievable, right? It's just one of those like I haven't had it in so long that it's just so good. Like the veal parm from Bob's in South Medford, that was my go-to for so long that it was just great. It was so awesome to be able to have one again. Um, so we're like walking through the Italian food store, right? And we're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Should we get one of that? And I was like, yeah, let's grab one of those. They had like homemade frozen gnocchi. So I was like, oh yeah, we'll get some of that. Um, they had calzone. The calzones were fucking huge. I almost talked Amy into buying a calzone, but she was like, it's too big. So I was like, all right, whatever. So then we get like a limoncello like dessert cake. So we got that. We just start grabbing like a bunch of shit, right? Because I'm like, this place is incredible. I love it. Like it's awesome. Go up to the counter, ringing out. The guy's like, all right, that'll be 75.33. Like, yeah, it will.
Yep.
Sure, it sure will be. So I spent $75 at Bob's in South
Yeah,
Medford.
I've done that at the Italian place too. Gets out of hand quick. I go in for two
Yeah,
sandwiches and I leave with two sandwiches, two pieces of pizza, maybe wine, maybe not.
that
Sometimes
was
a
the thing. So they
fucking
have, I mean,
panettone. Like,
right? Like Bob's has the Sicilian pizza. So I saw that in the window and I go, oh, look at that. And Amy's like, yeah, wow, it looks big. And I go, yeah, it's so fucking good. Like I want one, but I didn't get one. I didn't get one. Especially because I think Italo's closed, right?
oh,
Did
Italo's
Fodge
been
tell us
closed
that? Yeah.
Italo's been closed a long time.
Oh, okay. All right. Because well, that was the thing too. Even when I was in Medford, like I never really was in South Medford that often. Like the
No,
only time we were in South Medford was in Barry Park to go drink
yeah,
in the
my father
playground.
would he'd go to Italo's to get bread and he would get pizza while he was there. Fuck, that
Yeah.
pizza was good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. My dad used to
um
go because he would go to Bella Ravioli at 6:30 on Sunday morning and get them fresh as they made them. And then he would go to Italo's and get bread. And then he would always get the pizza. It was like religious, like almost every Sunday morning, he would go and get fresh pasta from Bella's. Um, but yeah, that was really fucking good. So, so you've probably heard me talk shit or talk about there's a place called North End Deli in North Attleboro, and I shit talk this place up and down, right? It's good. It is good, right? It's not fine, it's not whatever, it's not okay, it's good. It is good, right? I will say that. I will give them credit. But I fucking hate them because they're never open. You want to talk about Quest only being open Monday through Friday from 8 to 12 and then 1 to 4? This place, they don't post their hours. They're open like 10:30 to 1:30 randomly. Then maybe they open up again from like 2 to 3. They're never fucking open. You just, I don't know what it is. They're never open past 3 o'clock. Like they're never open before 9 a.m. Right? It's like, I don't know how they stay in business, but they are good. But they're not as good as Bob's. So
nothing is.
yeah. So we were in the car and Amy got an Italian and she was eating it. And I was like, oh, is it good? Because it was fucking huge, right? Like it was like falling out of the side. She goes, there's more sandwich than there is bread. And I go, yeah, it's Bob's. Like this place is awesome. Like my veal parm sub had like 4 veal cutlets in it. It was wild. Um, so she's eating it and I go, is it good? And she goes, yeah, it's good. And I go, Is it better than North End Deli? And I saw the hesitation. She was like, no, 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 no. North End Deli is better. And it was one of those, like, again, like I've said before, we all know that I'm insufferable. And if she said it was better, she never would fucking hear the end of it. Be like, oh,
You're not
yeah,
gonna hear the end of it
Bob's.
anyway, though, because we know Bob's is better. Like that's the thing.
Well, yeah, that's right. Like you and I know that Bob's is better, right? Like
Like in
I don't need someone
seriously,
else's validation, but
my spot in Hyde Park. I haven't tried their like chicken parm, their meatball because I was told that they're not as good as you might think.
mhm,
But I do get the Italian, and then like there's like three or four other subs,
yeah,
all cold that I like. Um, that place is Italian, can go toe to toe with Bob's.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and that's it. Like that's it. Like even like Wacky Deli in Mansfield was like it was really good. Like those sandwiches
right,
are really good.
right,
I ordered them all the time. No competition to these two places, so
right, right.
it's hard to do, man. Well,
It
actually, it's not
is.
hard. It's not. You know what? Fuck that. It's not hard to
It's
do.
not
No,
hard to do.
nobody does it,
It's hard to find, right?
and
Because no
because
one
people
does
aren't
it.
doing it.
Yeah, yeah. No one does like a proper Italian food store.
Yeah, because you just
Really close to Bob's though was the place in Easton, the old lady next to the turf
oh
building. What was the name of
yeah,
that place?
Rosa,
Roses. Yeah. Yeah.
Rosa.
That
Yeah,
place,
she was
they
good.
would literally make the sub in front of you. Like they would fry the cutlet, put the
In a
cheese on
pan
it,
in
put the
front of you.
sauce. Yeah. And then like it took forever. It literally took for you knew that you were going to be there for 20 minutes, but you still went in because
Yeah.
she would make everything fresh right there and just give it to you in the bag. That place was so fucking good. um that was like an Italian food store, right? Like that's solid.
Yeah. So
But yeah,
she
nothing beats
had
Bob's.
so she had the chicken parm that could compete.
Yeah,
Tutto Italiano in Hyde Park has the cold subs that can compete.
yeah,
Fucking Bob's has both, man.
yeah. You just can't beat it. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, the limoncello cake, fucking delicious.
Let's say I don't eat much cake. I know I went crazy on panettone in fucking
Yeah,
Columba last year or this year, but
yeah.
I don't eat a lot of cake, so I'm probably not getting that. I was actually craving limoncello not that long ago. I don't know why.
I think I might make some.
You
I
should.
was
Yeah, you
gonna
know what? You fucking should.
yeah, I was gonna make some last year and then I just kind of forgot. But I think I'm gonna make some this year.
Yeah, make some. You
Yeah,
you do that.
I
And then
will.
you can bring it to me and Bill's house.
Yes. All right. With that said, let's wrap this up. So we got another one. We went way longer than I wanted to, just because we were talking about Medford and Bridgewater. Um, sorry, next one will be quicker. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, subscribe up above. Subscribe if you're an audio only guy. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Twitter is Sarcasm_speaks. Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. Website, sarcasmspeaks.com. Check out the show notes. Support the sponsors. Support us. Get some cool shit. Until next time, good night, everybody.